Hi, I'm Axelle Carolyn, and this is Trailers from Hell. I'm here to talk about The Ghost and Mrs Muir, a movie that I discovered when I was a child. At the time, I couldn't watch horror movies because my parents wouldn't let me. So when my dad decided to show us The Ghost and Mrs Muir, a movie from the 40s, I was only excited because I heard the word ghost, but I didn't expect this to be a romance. So I don't quite remember how I felt about the movie as a child, but I know that 20 years later, when I wrote my first short film, The Last Post, and then my first feature, Soulmate, somehow, even though I hadn't seen the movie in all those years, a lot of this inspiration came through. And there's, for my short film, the ending is very much inspired by this movie. And for my feature, Soulmate, the storyline seems so very clear that it's inspired by the same movie. And some elements are the same, some lines come back. The tone is very different, but it was very much a clear inspiration for me. So this is The Ghost and Mrs Muir. So The Ghost and Mrs Muir is adapted from a book by Josephine Leslie, who wrote under the pseudonym R.A. Dick, which is fun because it seems like she wanted to be seen as a man to publish the book, which is exactly what happens in the film, where the lead character writes a book and then has to make it look as if it was a man who'd written it so that she can sell it, which shows a little bit of the sexism of the time. It was very well received at the time. The critics loved the movie. It was also nominated to an Oscar for Best Cinematography, which is very clear because there's amazing shadow plays in the film. The work of light is amazing, but also the staging is quite fantastic. It's remarkable that it's just those two characters throughout the entire movie, the ghost and the lead actress, and the way they move. A lot of the scenes are shot in just one big setup, and they just move constantly, and they constantly make it entertaining and interesting to watch. The cast is particularly wonderful. Obviously, Rex Harrison and Gene Tierney. The entire film relies on their chemistry. They're both extremely charming, they're witty, they're instantly likable. She's a very strong woman in the way that we define it today. She's very independent. She doesn't let other people make decisions for herself, especially not men. And so there's a whole romance element to it, but it's very, very subtle and underplayed and beautifully rendered through dialogue that's just sparkling throughout the entire film. It was one of Joe Mankiewicz's first movies. He had already directed Dragonwyck with Gene Tierney, who also introduced a little-known actor called Vincent Price, and he would go on to direct classics such as All About Eve. One of the things that are kind of amusing to see throughout the movie, like here we can see that the ghost appears on the train. It's never, the rules of the ghost are never extremely clearly defined. You never really know if he's stuck in the house or if he can just appear outside. Sometimes he shows up in the forest, sometimes he shows up in London. You never quite know what's going to happen and who is going to see him. And sometimes some elements that we can hear are not heard by some of the actors, but it all works pretty well. It doesn't really matter too much in the movie. The film itself can be interpreted as a metaphor for all kinds of different things. When I was a kid, I think I mostly saw it as a sign of hope, because at the end he appears and he takes her with him when she dies. Rewatching it recently, I thought it was a metaphor for time passing and for life choices and for not messing up your life, which was a lot darker. Again, it's a film that feels very personal and very beautiful.